Welcome, everyone. Just giving a few moments to make sure that we have everybody in before we get started. Welcome, welcome. So glad to have you here. You will notice a few differences about the tools. We are in webinar view. That means we have disabled your cameras and your microphones on purpose. If you have any questions throughout the session, I'd like you to use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to access the question and answer. You'll also notice that there is a chat button, and the chat button will allow you to access links. You will not be able to type in the chat button. For attendance purposes, there's nothing you need to do. You already did it. You're here and you have been marked as an attendant. You will notice that we have ASL interpreters, and we also have closed captioning available for you. If you click the closed captioning button, it will turn on closed captioning. If that's interrupting you and is making it difficult for you, click that button again and closed captioning will turn off. This is about making sure that everybody has what they need. So feel free to adjust your settings in any way that helps you. Okay, just giving a few more seconds, starting to see my participants numbers slow down a little bit. Now, while you have a raised hand feature, we will not be monitoring that portion. So if you have questions or need assistance, please put it in the Q&A portion. We have a dedicated team member that's going to be checking those Q&As and making sure that everybody's questions are addressed as much as possible in this session today. Right. So I'm going to navigate over. Welcome to LMS 101 Canvas. We are so glad you're here. My co-presenter Andrew is with me, as well as several others in the background, making sure that this runs smoothly. We do want to remind you that we are recording this session and will be providing the recording to all of you once it's completed. We wanted to start off by acknowledging that we are in traditional lands of the first people and past and present. We recognize that no matter where each of us is located in this moment, we are on the traditional homelands of Washington tribal nations. We honor with gratitude the land itself and call to action to practice seventh generation thinking in caring for the land and people. We want to give you a moment to think about where you currently live, or where are you currently right now? Can you answer the questions related to the tribe that is nearest to you? I'm going to pause and let you think about that. My name is Christina Wombold, and I work at ESD 112 as the digital learning coach. My co-presenter is with me, Andrew Hickman. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Andrew Hickman. I'm from Capital Region ESD, and I'm Regional Administrator of Educational Technology and Remote Learning. And we're really glad to have you here today and looking forward to helping you with Canvas.
The rest of my team members are listed here on this slideshow. And at the end of this session, you'll receive this slideshow, and it will have direct email links for each of the members of the team that can support you in your local region as well. The objectives for this 3-day course is going to be to gain initial understanding of how to begin using Canvas effectively, gain ideas for how to organize courses, materials, and resources, and start brainstorming ideas for next year or next week. Throughout our time, we'll also share best practices for remote learning. As I mentioned, this is a 3-part series. So today is part 1. Today, we're going to walk through accessing and navigating the Canvas environment. We'll set up our first course from scratch, and we'll learn how to add members or people. Tomorrow and in the next days, we'll dig further into organizing our materials and engaging others in courses. And then on the day 3, we'll talk about assessment and parent communication. As I mentioned, our agenda is going to start with framing our learning and where we are today, framing our Canvas and why we're doing this. And then I'm going to move into the Canvas instance, and we're going to do a tour, and we're going to see what all the buttons do at this very first glance. We will go into deeper detail in the next 2 sessions. Andrew, do you want to take us away with this word?
Thank you. So we have a word wall available for you to participate in. And what we would like you to do in this activity is go to the link that is going to be posted in the chat. And using that link, which is thepolev.com/Andrew Hickma 026, we want you to reply with 3 words that describe your ideal remote learning classroom. So once again, go to the link and type in the 3 words that describe your ideal remote learning classroom. And they're going to appear here on the screen. Flexible is the first word that came up. Fun, engaging, organized. Whoa, noticing words are getting bigger. The bigger the word, that means it's getting the same responses. So people are responding the most with engaging so far. So let's see how this goes. Let's let it rest for a minute and you keep responding and we'll see what kind of response we get.
Some of you might be wondering how we're doing this, and we're doing this with Poll Everywhere and Word Cloud.
And this is an add-on you can do in a Google Slide or other programs as well. So the biggest word that we're seeing so far for our framing is engaging, but I'm noticing a couple other words that are starting to pop out as bigger. For example, interactive, fun, organized, and flexible are still getting bigger and bigger. So let's keep seeing how this goes. Ooh, I like the feedback. I'm a big formative feedback person myself. Welcoming, attended,
user-friendly.
So all of these words are things we're thinking about when we're talking a remote learning classroom. These are ideal. So I'm going to take this information. We're going to keep letting this run for a few more seconds. But I'm going to take the information and let's kind of make a sentence using just the largest words to help our framing for this series. We are hoping that our ideal remote learning classroom will be a place that is fun, interactive, accessible, and engaging for our students. 2 more words that are popping up: inclusive and organized. Just wanted to make sure that we highlight those. So we're going to continue to have this open for a few more seconds. I'm going to take a picture of it for data purposes, and then we're going to continue on with framing this course.
I love just keep seeing fun and flexible and interactive. It just warms my heart to think that everybody's right there with us.
Yeah. And our job is to hopefully make this as easy as possible for you to do this within your work. Okay. So Christina, do you want to steal your screen back?
I will come back.
Thank you for the data.
Yes, thank you very, very much. So as we continue with framing of the why, we wanted to take a moment to frame our thinking as we begin to plan the creation of our Canvas courses. When providing instruction in any setting, we recommend that you consider various frameworks and/or standards, that you use universal design, meaning that you set it up for every student to be able to access it regardless of their ability, that you focus in social emotional learning, and that you are culturally
Hey,
responsive in your
Christina.
teaching practices.
Christina, I'm
Yes.
wondering if you could try screen share again. It's only
Okay.
showing a black screen for a moment.
Well, let's try that again. We're only modeling what may happen to you in the classroom. Is
There you
that
go.
better, Andrew?
That's perfect.
All right, thank you. And I'm so sorry for that. So as I was saying, we wanted to ground you in instructional framework, universal design, social emotional learning, and culture responsive teaching practices. As a reminder, you will have this slide deck at the end of the class. And when you click on each of these, they will become links and you will get more information and be able to ground yourself even further in these ideas. Using culturally responsive teaching and social emotional learning and universal design helps us change the practices that will help us be responsive to learners verbally, culturally, and linguistically. I wanted to place this up here. Chris Rectile acknowledged equity and access barriers in this very powerful statement. Please take a moment to read his quote. Equity and access were further detailed in the OSPI reopening school guidance. Each student and family and community possesses strengths and cultural knowledge that benefit their peers, educators, and schools. As we mentioned when we started this, we're going to be driving into Canvas. We're going to be accessing your Canvas domain. We're going to be touring Canvas and we're going to be creating a course. We're also going to be inviting people to your course. But before we dive in, I wanted to pause and see if we have any questions in the Q&A that we need to answer before we go any further. Andrew, do you see anything in the Q&A?
I'm not seeing anything specifically that has not been answered, but I'm going to just check really quick. Just a couple quick questions about attendance. Just to remind, we have attendance taken. Is there anything else to add, Catherine?
I was going to say, I'm checking into those. We'll handle the attendance questions separately, but I don't think there are any things that Christina can address right now. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to pause first. So let's go ahead and we're going to dive into the tool. As I mentioned, Canvas is kind of confusing because there's more than one Canvas instance, and that depends on your school district. So if you look up at my URL right now, you'll notice that it says esd112.infrastructure.com. That's the ESD112's Canvas instance. And if I have an account in a different one, if I try to log in here, I'm going to be told I don't have an account. Here's another example. I'm using the Washington ESD Coordinator's Canvas installation. This is where we have all of our on-demand courses listed, and you might decide to register for one of these as well. You'll need to create an account in here to be able to access any of the courses within this area. So you have to be certain which Canvas instance you are going to be using. And that's something you're going to need to check with your district on, because I don't know.
And another thing that I just wanted to highlight is you'll notice at the top where it says WA ESD coordinators, there's actually a logo that we were able to put. Canvas on the sign-in page, your district might add their own logo and change the color of this login page, which could help you recognize if you're in the right spot.
Yeah, because if I look back over at my ESD 112 one, here's the logo, and you can see that the page is kind of gray versus my Washington ESD coordinators, which is dark and has their logo. You may find that you will have more than one Canvas login for various Canvas instances. You're going to need to keep track of that and know which Canvas do you need to go into to create your courses for your students versus which Canvas account you need to go into to take a class from, say, us. I'm going to go, once we've gone to the Canvas page that we're supposed to be in, we know it's our district's Canvas page, we are going to go ahead and log in. If you've never logged in before, you'll need to get a Canvas account. However, I would be very careful to create my own Canvas account without checking with my district first, because you don't want to have duplicate accounts within there. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. When I first log in, this is the window that I come across. It has been set to show me the dashboard first. On the dashboard, I see all of my published courses, as well as I can scroll down and see any courses that I haven't published. Unpublished courses means I'm building it, but nobody's going to be able to see it or interact with it until I hit publish. Going along the left-hand side toolbar, the first button is Account. Account lets me set up my notifications. How many emails do I want and what do I want them for? If I select notifications, I can see all of the different settings that I may decide to turn on or turn off. I can also add them as a calendar. I have other options here. Under notifications, I have my profile. This is where I can edit my bio, I can add links, I can add contact information. This may already be filled out by your district. I have files. These are just the files that I have access to. I have settings. And it gives me more information about all my settings. I can select Google Drive. If I know I'm going to be pulling a lot of material in from Google Drive, I can add it as one of my buttons. And I can look at further information. I can do high contrasting for accessibility. These are my personal settings and they're not settings for anyone else involved in Canvas. I have the ability to set up an e-portfolio, and we may go into this more on our day 3, but there is a good blurb here that you can read. I can set up shared content. This would be something that I would share with others. I have a QR. If I wanted to form a QR code that kids could hold up their devices to, this would be more handy if we were in person in the classroom. And then I have global announcements. And when I click on global announcements, I'll see current and I can see recent. Currently, I don't have any global announcements, at least for the last 4 months. This has all been found under the account button. So again, from the left-hand side, I have the account button and all of these various options. And I also can toggle on to high contrast right now. It didn't seem to change it too much for me, but it says I need to reload the page first. We talked about the dashboard, but I wanted to come up to the top of the dashboard. There's 3 little dots right here on the right-hand side of the screen, and you can look at different views. Currently, I have color overlay over all of my published courses because they look identical. So watch when I turn that off. They all have the same information and I might get confused. So this color overlay lets me know that these are each different courses and identify them better. I can also go into list view. Go back. Oops, sorry. And I'm gonna go back to my 3 dots and go back to card view. And then I have recent activity. You will also notice on the right-hand side, I have my calendar. There's a link right here to view my calendar. There is a link right here to start a new course or to view grades. And we will go into grades more on day 3. As we continue down the left-hand side here, I have courses. Now, these are all the courses that I have access to. But if I don't want to see all these courses, maybe I'm enrolled in them as a student myself and I'm not teaching them, I can select all courses And then from here, I have stars. If I select these stars, when I go back to my dashboard, there's one, I'm only going to see the class that I starred. This gets rid of the clutter, especially for a teacher who might be running 6, 8 various Canvas courses. I can still access all my courses, and I can change starred courses at any time that I want to. So I'm going to go ahead and star all of mine because I do want those to continue to come up. You'll also notice at the top, I could start a course right here. We'll talk about this a little bit more in just a moment. I want to continue our tour. As we go down to calendar view, this is an internal calendar. However, it works very similar to Google Calendars if you've ever used G Calendar. On this side here, on the right-hand side, I can select one of these and uncheck the colored box and it would disappear. I don't have a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm trying to see if I have any. I don't. The only things that come to the calendar are assignments that have due dates. I can also view my calendar as I go over from the months with this toggle. I can view it during the week. I can do an agenda, or if I select this plus button, I can add an event, an assignment, a to-do, or an appointment for a group directly from here. This would go into the calendar that I choose. So I need to be really careful about this box here where it says, which calendar do you want it to go to? And then I can publish it right from here. Going a little further down on the left-hand side toolbar, we have inbox.
Before you go on, can you go back to calendar really quick?
Yes, Andrew.
We had a question in the Q&A. Is there a way to send out this calendar to Google or wherever?
So we have this little button here at the bottom, calendar feed. And this would let me paste it into my Google Calendar, iCalendar, or Outlook. So I can integrate this into another service.
Perfect, thank you.
Absolutely, great question. I don't want to be toggling between several calendars either. Is there any other questions before I move on?
There's one around global announcements. Where do global announcements go?
So within your course, are we talking about a global announcement within the course, say the class I'm teaching to my students?
Yes.
Okay, so when I go ahead and create a new course, let me go into all my courses. When I name the course, I'm going to come up with sample course. The first thing that I need to do is decide what content licensing I want for this course. Now, this could be a little confusing if you've never had any kind of content licensing. So think of it as copyright. And I have private, meaning nobody can do it. And then I have attribution, share alike, non-commercial, meaning I just don't make money off of it. I'm going to go with private for right now. Click create course because I want to make sure I answer that global announcements. So once I have my course in here, this is the basics of once my course opens up. On the left-hand side, I have all of these choices. You see how I have these little not visible to student icon? It looks like a little eyeball that's crossed out. I can edit that and make this as simple as I need to make it for my students depending on their grade levels. And at the very top, you see announcement. And I can post an announcement. And when I post an announcement, I can add it to multiple sections if I want to. I can add it just to my sample course.
Perfect, thank you.
Absolutely.
And then we had 2 more calendar questions.
Okay, I'm going to pop back into calendar right now.
Perfect.
I haven't finished creating that course, so it went away.
No problem. So one of the calendar questions is, can you set an event for multiple calendars?
Oh, yes. So if I'm going to go ahead and select an event, and I want it to be on my calendar, it doesn't look like I'm able to set it to more than one at a time. Do you know how to do that, Andrew?
What happens if you click more options?
I have addresses, I have location, I have duplicate.
That should work.
That would just be reoccurrences. So it doesn't look like I can send it to more than one at a time, unless I'm missing something.
Don't think so.
I think so either. So I think you can't send it to multiple classes, unfortunately.
Okay, and then we had one. Once you send the link to Google Calendar, is that it, or do you have to resend the link every time?
Oh no, it's it. It'll just keep bringing everything over into Google Calendar, because redoing it every time would be overwhelming for sure.
And I'll answer the next one. So do your assignments get inserted as events? Is that how they appear on the calendar? Yes, if you add a due date, they get put on the calendar for them by the class that they were added in.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to continue on with our tour, and then we'll go back in and create our course. So in our email, Canvas has its own internal email. I can filter by all courses or just my favorite courses. And when I pull up one of these emails, it would show me if there's any email just from that course. I can also filter by unread, starred, sent, archived, or submission comments. I can additionally compose a new message within here and select which course I want it to go to. When I go over to the to function, I'm going to have teachers, as well as I'm going to have any students that are enrolled in my course. So I could just send this email to only the teachers within my area. And then this box here, I love this box here. Send an individual message to each recipient. This is the BBC, or blind carbon copy, that we all want to do as best practice. That way we're not giving anybody else's email without their permission. Within the message, you'll also note that I can attach any document that I want, and I also can record an audio or video comment within my email message inside Canvas. This does not go to your email that you may use as Outlook or Gmail or any of that. I don't know, Andrew, can you help me? Can we disable email within Canvas for students?
I have not seen that ability.
I didn't think so, but I always know that that's a question because people are a little concerned about students and email. I'm going to pause again. Is there any questions about inbox at this time? I'm
not see any inbox questions.
All right, I'm going to take that as we're good to go. Continuing down the bottoms, you'll see this Commons buttons. And one of the great features of Canvas is that it does have a Commons. And sorry, I clicked the button more than once. And the Commons is a whole bunch of resources that you are able to use as however you want. They have different licenses, like we mentioned, copyright, share alike, other pieces, but there's lots of them in here. And through the Commons, which we will go through more on day 3, we have search, we have shared, we have imported, so I brought in something from somewhere else, and we have favorites. So as I'm searching the Commons, if I find one I like, I can select the star here, and it will add it to my favorites. And then at the last part of this green band on the left-hand side is help. And oh my, do I love help, because sometimes I just can't find somebody to answer my question right away. You'll see that you can ask your instructor a question. You can report a problem if you think there's something wrong with your Canvas installation. You can go to training and on-demand training videos that'll help you with things, or you can ask a larger community. There's all sorts of ways to submit a feature idea. So you want something in Canvas that you're not seeing, tell them about it. They've been really good about answering our requests. And then way down here at the bottom, You see this little arrow in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen? This is going to log me out. I could also log out from the account button. Right now, we've just done an overview of the environment. Now we're going to go in deeper into creating that simple course, that sample course.
We do have a couple questions
Yeah.
about the dashboard and how you remove an unpublished course. How did you delete it?
So I have a course that I haven't published yet, the one I just made in this session. And I am going down to where it says Unpublished Courses. And of course, I can change the color. I can move it by using these 3 dots. But actually, to delete it, I have to open up the course myself. I have to navigate down to the settings. And then I should see an option for deleting this course. Maybe it was back at the home button. Andrew, can you help me out? I am not finding it, and I do this all the time.
Usually it was on the home, but if you scroll down, there should be more options down at the very bottom.
Ah, there it is.
And then to keep going down, usually there's the delete button. But
there it is. I just hadn't scrolled far enough.
There you go.
Yeah, so I can go ahead and delete this course. You'll also see that I can copy this course. So I'm going to start that again. So I've been from the dashboard. I scrolled all the way to the bottom where I have my unpublished course. I select on it. And then I'm going to be able to go into settings, keep scrolling, and I have the delete course button. Just wanted to make sure since it took us a little bit to get there. So I'm back in my course that I created, that simple course. I have these buttons on the left-hand side, but I am going to teach 3rd grade, and I don't think I want all of those buttons. So I'm going to be able to go into settings, and I'm going to be able to come in here and decide what things I want to turn off. Navigation. And as I drag and drop these things off the list, they're going to go away. And students will not be able to see them anymore. These can always be turned back on. So if you start putting things away and then you're like, ooh, I really needed that, you can go ahead and add them back at any point in time. So now when I go save, you see I have a whole lot more not shown. And I'm going to click student view. I love Canvas's student view because then I can see what they see. So I'm going to go ahead and click student view and see the students only see home, discussions, grades, and people because I had turned off all those other features for them. Again, I can change this at any point in time. You'll see that you're in student view because we have this bright pink banner at the bottom of the screen, and I can reset the student or I can leave student view, fix something as a teacher, and come back in to look at it. So I'm going to leave student view. Once I'm in this course, I can import existing content. I can import from the Commons. Remember that Commons that had all that stuff done? I can choose the landing page. So I want my students to always land at course modules. So they won't land at home. Let me go see what that did when I look at student view. It's going to put them into the course modules, but I don't have any modules, so I'm going to have to add some. Up on the right-hand corner, you see plus button, and this is the module. I like to organize things by units or maybe days. It'll depend on you. So I'm going to select day 1 and add a module. A module, again, if it wasn't day 1, it could be biology, chapter 2. And I'm going to nest everything underneath this. I can publish one module at a time so that students only see what they need to attend to for the day, if that's how I want to organize it. And to do that, I come over to this plus button and I decide, do I want to add an assignment, a quiz, a file, external tools, a text header? There's a lot of options, and we'll go into this more tomorrow. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and add a, let's say, I'll just add a header. Maybe I want to make sure that my students know what they are to be doing independently. So I've added a header here, and then when I add resources, like such as a link, external URL, and I'm just gonna paste one in here that I've had for something else. Again, we're not gonna use it. I can add that item underneath the individual practice. So now you see it here. The student view is not going to let the student see any of this. So if I go into student view, they don't see any of it because I haven't published it yet. If I want them to see it, I'm going to click over here where there's that circle with a line through it like not published, and it's going to turn green. And they're going to be able to see module 1. So let's go in and see what that looks like. And now the students can see them and access them. That's the basics of creating a course. And we're going to go into more detail tomorrow for sure. I wanted to pause and check. Do we have any questions at this point?
I just wanted to address, we have a lot of questions in the Q&A and we're kind of working through them, but some of them are similar. So we're kind of waiting till the end to, so if you're not seeing your question get answered, don't panic, we're going to get to you. Some of the questions that are being asked also are about things that are going to happen in the second and third day. And a few people have asked this question, so I just wanted to address that some people are saying, oh, I don't see this feature, or that doesn't look the same for me. Canvas is very highly customizable, and so it's entirely possible that the administrator in your domain or instance of Canvas, your district's version, could have disabled or changed those options. So if it doesn't look exactly like what you're seeing here, that could be why, but it's nothing to panic about.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, today is just about getting into the right Canvas course, seeing if I can create a course, playing around a little bit, and then adding a student. We will go into more detail about exactly how to do assignments and add materials tomorrow, and then we'll deal with assessments and quizzes on day 3. Okay, so now I've got to add people. So I have a class. How am I going to get my students in this? Now this may be done for you by your district administrator. Your district Canvas administrator may have already loaded all the students into your classes. They may have already linked your gradebook to your school information system, such as Power Schools or Schoology or Skyward. Those are things that may have already been done. However, if you don't have that kind of support and you're going to be adding people yourself, you're going to select on the people button here. And I can start adding people with this button here on the right-hand corner. It's green. And I can start adding them with email addresses and checking the role, making sure I know what role they are. I can add them in with a login ID or a school assigned ID. Again, this may be done by your district. So I'm going to go ahead and add my partner, Catherine Leivik here. You've all heard her voice as a sample student in here. I'm making sure that I've got her in the right course. I'm making sure I've given her the right role. There are multiple roles within Canvas. Students can view and turn in assignments and chat with one another in the course. Teachers are going to have control of everything. You're setting up the course. You're the teacher, just like you were in your physical classroom. There's TA, designer, and observer. So I'm going to go ahead and add a link in the chat for a detailed description of what each of those roles mean for you. The observer role is really nice for our administrators for thinking about how am I going to do observations in this distance learning world. They would be able to come in and just see what's happening. We may also give them a TA role to answer questions, emails, and other things. The designer role is left for people that are going to be creating the bones of the course. That means you could design courses with your grade level PLC teams. Once I add Catherine in as her email, I've set her role, I've set her course, I click next at the bottom of my screen. And I can continue on adding users. I can start over, I can select and keep going. Now I know that she has been sent the invite, but it's pending because she hasn't logged in yet. Once she logs in, I will know when she logged in. I will also see her last activity. And I will see the total amount of time that she has been active within this course within my Canvas. We're just looking at everyone here under the People app, but I can also create groups. These are student small groups. This might be helpful for differentiation. As you can see, students get their own calendar, discussion boards, collaboration tools, so they can really work as a small group within your whole group Canvas course. Scrolling back over. Again, every time I see these three dots, I'm always thinking there's a menu. So I can view user groups from these, prior enrollments, student interactions, and I can view registered services. I'm kind of wondering, student interaction report. It's letting me know if Catherine has ever interacted with my test student right now. If there were other students involved in this course, I would see interactions with other students. I can see journal entries, I can see scores, final scores, and ungraded assignments from this tab as well. Okay, do we have any more questions right now about adding a student if your district isn't doing this for you?
I just wanted to, oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to mention that I'm still seeing a lot of questions about whether the participants will be able to see the recording and the slide deck. And yes, those will all be sent to you later. So if you're going to need to go back and rewatch parts of the video, you're definitely going to be able to do that. I just want to reassure everybody.
Absolutely. Just as a reminder, this is an overview, so we're going to be going in deeper tomorrow and probably answering some of the questions that are at the tip of your tongue right now. Andrew, what did you want to add?
We also just had a couple generic questions about adding parents, for example, into the course, or if you should add special education teachers as co-teachers, or any recommendations for that at this point.
So you will need to check with your district on which role they would like to have your parents access the courses from. Many times they check observer, but that is going to be district to district, how they want to set that up. And personally, I recommend adding my special education support team as a co-teacher with me. But we're going to have a discussion about what can they do, because once they're a teacher, they have the same role and privileges as I do. And we wouldn't want to be duplicating efforts or changing things without having that discussion. Andrew, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think you highlighted the big piece, and it's really a district decision on what roles should be added. However, we do recommend having co-teachers available to help with assignments or monitoring chats or things like that in the discussions. So co-teachers are always beneficial, but definitely have those discussions as a team.
Yeah, I just can't emphasize that enough, is if you add a teacher, they have the same rules, design features as you, so you just want to continue to have those conversations. You may also think about adding some of your paraprofessionals or paraeducators in as a TA role, so they could just see some things and help support you. Or you may decide to add them as a co-teacher. Again, talk with your grade level team, talk with your building, and talk with your district on what they want you to do as best practice. Okay, I think that we have addressed at least the first section of our goal for today, which was accessing our Canvas course, starting a new course, which I can do from the dashboard, and adding people. If there are no more questions, we'll kind of go into how to wrap up our session for today. However, I'm wondering would it be beneficial if I ran through just starting a course and adding people a second time?
Based on what I'm seeing in the Q&A, I think that might be a good thing to do.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm at the dashboard right now. I'm on the right-hand side, and I'm just going to start a new course right from this button. When I start a course, I need to give it a name. I need to, again, decide what content licensing I want to give it. Do I want it to be copyright, or do I want my fellow PLC to be able to reuse this course? We build one, and each of us go ahead and copy it over so that it can be our course with our kids. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and say attribute this time. Give credit where credit's due. I'm going to create this course. Now again, we have all of the ability to change what's viewable on this side, and we're going to go into that more tomorrow. You can see the licensing has been added to this course right now. I can choose my home page, so I'm going to select my home page as the course modules and save. And now I'm going to go over to people. When I get to people, I can again add people from the green button on the right-hand corner. I can add it with their email address. So I'm going to add myself, my alter ego, back in here. I can select which role they are. So this might be where I add my special education teacher as a co-teacher for me. And she's going to be a co-teacher within the Canvas 101 course. I need to decide, can she interact with users in this section only? Or is she going to be interacting with people in multiple sessions? I will check that box depending on the answer. I'm going to go ahead and click next. Oh, I needed to add a name. I didn't add a name, so it catches when I make a mistake. So I'm going to go back. And it's still asking me to add a name. Oh, we were unable to find matches below. Select any you would like to create a new user.
Yeah, so if you click the checkbox, there you go.
There we go. Sometimes you just actually have to read that warning sign. I'm going to select next, and I can continue to add users from here. Again, most districts will go ahead and do that for us. So our goals for today were that you can reach this dashboard, you can start a new course, and you can add someone, whether it's a student, a teacher, an observer. Since this isn't published and nobody besides the people that you add can see it, feel free to play around in it. This is a sandbox, and it's intended for you to try things, change things, and learn from experience. Do we have any other questions at this time?
I see some questions about importing student rosters, and I believe I'm seeing quite a few questions about student rosters and that kind of thing. Again, some of these are going to be things that your individual district will have set up. So it may be a question that we cannot answer for you, but hopefully your district technology staff can answer those questions.
Yeah, you'll notice that when I click add people, there's not a place for me to upload a CSV file or a spreadsheet file. That would have to be done on the back end by your IT director or your Canvas district administrator. As a teacher, I could copy and paste those emails from a spreadsheet and add more than one at a time, but I would not be able to upload the spreadsheet as a direct file. Again, it shows you an example of how to separate emails with a comma in between them. Very similar to creating a Outlook email group list or Gmail group list.
We have a request for someone to show again how to get reports for people in the course. I'm hoping I'm understanding that correctly.
Oh, activity reports.
Yeah.
And I believe, let's go into our home of our class. I'm trying to get back down in here. Stop. Does anybody remember which link I was in to do that? I thought I was in settings. Nope, let's go to people. It was on the people's page. On the right-hand side with those 3 dots, I can go to student interaction reports. Now again, I'm not 100% sure that that will be turned on for everyone, as Canvas is very personalized by your district. So they could have disabled that function if you don't see it from your view. And of course, I have no students to report on in this course because I haven't actually built out this course yet with students. So again, we're going to access that from the people page once we have students. Top right-hand corner, student interactions report. We can also view user groups, and it explains what a group is and how to set it up as well. Pausing again.
We've had some questions about notifications as well. Could you show them in Account the notifications controls that you have? So
Absolutely. So from the left-hand side, I have Account. And if I select Notifications, I have all sorts of choices. I really want to highlight this little key at the top. A check mark means notify me right away. Don't wait. A clock means send me a daily summary. I don't need an email for everything kids do. A calendar means send it to me just once a week. I don't even want it daily. And an X means I don't want any notifications. I'm in Canvas every day and I see the work. So as we go through here, anything that's green is what you have set by default, and you can change it. So I can say right away for due dates, grading policies, or I can say no. This is done by individual, so you cannot preset this for your students at a teacher level. The students will be able to change their notification. A district admin may be able to set default notifications for students. You see, we have them for discussion, conversation, scheduling, groups, conferences, alerts, content link error. That's the one I want to know right away. If I put a link in incorrectly, I want to know about it now so that I can fix it. And that's where I find that looking at the student view of a course, by always going in to the course and clicking student view, lets me know what they can see. And if I click on this and it doesn't work, then I know that the link is broken and that I need to fix it.
I see one more question. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
One more question that I saw repeated a few times in the Q&A is about how to choose where students land when they come into Canvas. Can you address that?
Yes, so that's going to be from the course that you are trying to choose. And if I scroll down a little bit, it says choose home page. And I can choose the home page of what I want them to land on. Do I want them to land on the assignment list, the syllabus, the course activity, the front page? I have to make a front page first. And you'll know that it wasn't highlighted because I have pages hidden so that students can't see them right now. So I'd have to turn on pages for that to be my landing page. I do know that some districts have created a landing page for every course already. So this may be something you can change, or it may be something that you're directed to use a landing page by your district. Any others, Catherine or Andrew or anybody else?
This is not a content question, but I've also seen a lot of people saying that they have conflicts for the third session, and or something like that, or they're not able to view the live presentation tomorrow. And I just want to reiterate that everybody will get the recordings and the slide deck links and for all of these sessions, so you'll all be able to access them.
And as you can see, we have built at your own pace on-demand courses that you can register for that allow you to go through all this information again and in greater detail. So you could be in the live session and receive 1 to 3 clock hours, and then you could register for the on-demand session and receive another 6 clock hours that's at your own pace, that connects you to all the people that are in this room through discussions and additional resources. So we highly encourage you to also register for those on-demand courses, especially if you can attend all 3 days. All right. As we finish up, we wanted to take a moment to synthesize and reflect on our learning today. And we want to be good teachers, so we want you to fill out this reflection form so that we can improve our practice tomorrow. We're going to give you the exact same reflection form each day, and that's because we're looking to see how you grow throughout the 3-day session. What did you know today versus what do you know on the last day? So we have placed this in the chat. We will also make sure that you have this access to this tomorrow as well. If you would like, you can scan this QR code with your mobile phone if you have it right in front of you and fill it out. Just pausing a moment for that. As we wrap up for tomorrow, we really invite you to explore your Canvas account and try some of this. If you don't know if your district has a Canvas domain, reach out to them. Get that domain. Find out if they've already created your courses. Find out if you've already added students. If not, go ahead and even if they have created your courses, create a sandbox course so you can play around with it, turning on all the features and changing things. Nobody's going to see it but you. And then try to add people to your sandbox course. As you saw, I could add my personal Gmail account. Therefore, I could see, yep, I knew how to add them. I gave them the right role. I can delete them later, so it's not going to hurt anything to add them. We also wanted to remind you that the Zoom link that you use to access this course today is the exact same tomorrow and the exact same on Thursday. Same time, same place, same people. We have really enjoyed having you, and if we have a few more questions, I might have 2 more minutes to answer them. It looks like everybody's a little spent for a Tuesday afternoon. Know that if you didn't get your questions answered today, tomorrow we're going to go even more in detail, and we're going to start looking at adding and building out those courses with materials and links and resources. Tonight, we just really encourage you to play around. Don't be scared. You can't break anything. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close out this meeting. Thank you all for being here. We are so excited you came to be part of this.